Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Black on Black Cinema. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Micah.
Hey.
All right, guys, we're back. Terrence is not going to be able to join us, unfortunately, for episode 186, Charm City Kings. This is on HBO Max. This is a HBO Max original. So if you have that, please check it out. But otherwise, we're going to go through it. So we're going to, spoil everything if you haven't seen it. So Charm City Kings is the 2020 American drama film, starring Jahi Winston, Meek Mill, and Teyonah Parris. It tells the story of a young kid named Mouse, who's 14, in Baltimore, Maryland, who is trying to sort of caught at the crossroads of sort of the bad line of trying to make fast money through the drug game versus trying to make an honest living, while sort of trying to live out his dream of riding dirt bikes like his brother Stro, who died a number of years, or I think I guess a number of years before the movie truly starts. And he sort of looks up to another guy named Blax, played by Meek Mill, who is sort of a famous local dirt bike rider in Baltimore, and also was a friend of his brother's, who again has passed away at this point. Neither one of us obviously had seen it before doing the episode, so I will go to Micah first. What did you think?
I enjoyed it. It's a solid coming of age movie. It doesn't, like, this type of movie doesn't need to take place in Baltimore to tell the story that it's telling. Right. But the fact that it does take place in Baltimore has it hits me personally in the feels a little bit. It bumps it up a half a star. Performances all around were really good. Look, it is very difficult to perfect a Baltimore accent because there are a number of different Baltimore accents. My parents think that I have like an uppity way of speaking.
Do they know me?
But everyone else hears my Baltimore accent, but they don't hear it. They think I don't sound enough like Baltimore. Whereas, Andy, so. I think once said that I sound like a bucket of sentient crab legs.
Yeah.
Which I thought was funny. But there's white people have a certain way of speaking in Baltimore. Black people have a certain way of speaking in Baltimore. And you hear the black Baltimore accent in this.
And then class, right? Like there's
class, yeah.
Right. Like, cause there's poor white that has a very distinctive Baltimore accent.
Yeah, we're going down the ocean.
Like white people with money in Baltimore do not sound like that.
They don't. Whereas black people from Baltimore kind of sort of maybe a little bit do.
Yeah.
Ta-Nehisi Coates probably doing well for himself. Probably the smartest thing to come out of Baltimore. He from Baltimore.
You cannot run from that accent. If you got a thick Baltimore accent, I don't care how educated you are, you cannot get out of it. He was in the soup too long. He didn't get around people who didn't sound like that early enough. Like he didn't get out of it till like college, and it was too late.
It was way too late then.
Yeah.
But I say that because, some of the cast is not from Baltimore, but they pull off a pretty good Baltimore accent. I say pretty good because the test of doing a voice or doing an accent really comes when you gotta be intense, when you gotta yell, when you gotta scream. Like, that's the true test of an accent and how well you can hold it. And during some of the more dramatic, like, screaming sections between like mother and son and stuff like that, yeah, it kind of fell.
Yeah. It's a little hard.
But I appreciate it. And yeah, this is a good movie. This is a solid movie. You don't see a lot of stories about little black boys. just little black boys, period, right? Like,
Right.
I don't know of too many stories of little black boys on like fantasy adventures or coming of age stories or stuff like that. I can't think of any off the top of my head. So it's nice to see that. It's also a little scary for me. I got a little black boy, and while I don't think he will be put in these situations,
I would argue probably not.
It's something that I would want him to watch. It's something that I would want him to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I recommend this movie. I enjoyed it. My wife couldn't watch it with me, but I might watch it again with her.
That's the exact same scenario for me.
Yeah. It's a pretty standard coming of age story, right? There's nothing. The one character, look, there's three friends, and one of them is just kind of like, I'm happy go lucky, and I'm like, well, I know what's gonna happen to you.
Yeah,
and it does. So, but anyway, long story short, I recommend this movie. 3.5 out of 5.
Okay, all right. So I'm pretty much right there with you. I mean, not to get too much into the conversation about the Baltimore accent, though we will later.
We gotta make fun of it.
Yeah, come on, man. We sound ridiculous. We sound like that? Right, like they should have gave them the Aaron test. I thought the performances were pretty good. Like pretty good to impressive in a lot of ways. I thought the Jahi Winston, who played Mouse, the lead, I thought he did a really good job. I thought, like, I don't want to use the term carry the movie on his back because that sort of implies that everyone else wasn't good. But he just did, just because his character, just the nature of his character and how heavily they lean on him.
Yeah, the movie's about him.
Right.
Like he's the main character. So.
Right. But, sometimes you get like a side character that is like stealing every scene. Like, no, not in this, though. I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. But I just thought he did such a good job as a young actor portraying this character, Mouse. I thought he was really impressive. That being said, I definitely would like to see him in other things. Like, I look forward to seeing him in other stuff.
You've seen him in Proud Mary.
Was he the kid?
Yeah, he was a kid in Proud Mary.
Wow, I did, Joe. Hold a gun to my head. I would have never known that. That's really funny. Oof, what a step up this is from that movie.
Yeah.
You like hot dogs? Like, all right. All right. We're done with this. But I thought he was pretty impressive for this movie. The other thing, like, look, the Baltimore accent, like, he pulls it off. And look, as Micah would say, there are moments in the movie that really test how good that accent is, right? The more intense scenes. While I would agree with that, there are two other instances I would say that really test the Baltimore accent specifically. I need to know how you say dude, and I need to know how you say two, right? Like, if you dragging those vowels pretty hard on the ground on your way out of the door, you got it. And
if you say the second number in existence spelled TEW, that's how you. All right,
yeah, you got it. You got it. Like,
if you call a canine a DUG, you got it.
He did, and I was like,
yeah, he did.
I got a little choked up. I was like, somebody did their research. Okay, all right, that is a Doug. You're right, this is a Doug. And he's like talking about his brother. He was like, yeah, he's a good dude. I was like, there it is. Look, I know so many people who would say it exactly like that. So that was perfect. As another note about the acting, I actually thought Meek Mill did a good job, right? Like, obviously he's not an actor, he's a rapper. But I thought he did a pretty good job. Like, there's a reference to the Karate Kid in this movie, which I thought was apt, right? They're like, I'm not going down to that garage and doing some Mr. Miyagi bullshit, which is hilarious because they would be way too young to even know what that movie is. But like, it's the frame of this movie is the same as the Karate Kid. It's exactly the same. It's more complex, and it deals with some things that are a little bit deeper culturally, obviously. But it is a coming of age story in a similar way, right? This kid being, taken under the wing by this, quote unquote expert, who is trying to show him the right way and trying to keep him on the right path. Like it is the building block by which all coming of age stories of this type are written. And it works for a reason. But this, I thought this movie was just a really good watch. I thought it was pretty entertaining. It doesn't hurt that I'm like, I know that place. I drive by that place. Like, you know what I mean? Like that kind of feels good. I understand why, Marvel goes to China to do movies because people are like, yo, that's in China. I know that. And then they go see it, right? It's the same thing. We make fun of that on the other show, and I'm like, look at me. I'm the what's the meme from that Quentin Tarantino movie where he like leans up and he's like pointing at the TV. That's me. Right? Like there it is. So yeah, I just enjoyed it. I thought Teyonah Parris as Mouse's mom was really good. It was so funny for a while. I couldn't place her. I was like, I know this woman. I couldn't place her. Then I was like, oh, okay, there she is.
I think they told her, the makeup artist, they showed her a picture of Jess Hilarious and said, make Tiana look like that.
Pretty much. It's like, find me the most Baltimore chick of all time. They were like, got it. No problem. Yeah. But yeah, I thought everybody was pretty good. And there's a lot of local actors and things like that, and not actors, just like kind of local dirt bike dudes who were just in this movie. And I thought they all just, because they weren't acting, right? Like they were just like, yo, just say what you would normally say. Like, all right, like they weren't acting, and I thought that was cool.
I think I credit that to direction and writing, to be able to take people who are not actors, because like anybody can act, right? Like anybody, look at Deacon, anybody can act, right? But it takes if you're not a classically trained actor,
right,
it takes a lot to pull a performance out of you,
right?
And I'm sure these people are fine actors, but they're amateurs, and I credit most of their performance, not most of it, but half of their performance to the directors being able to get the types of feelings and emotions that they wanted from these people.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I will say it probably helps that they are passionate about the topic. So, it doesn't feel like they're not acting from the sense of like, I'm acting like I'm a character from a Shakespeare play. I'm being myself and talking about the stuff I know. So they probably feel a little bit more comfortable, which is good. And you can really see that in their performances. All right, so yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm probably going to lean to a 4. Like I just found it really enjoyable. If you haven't watched it on HBO Max, again, like, yeah, I would highly recommend it. I think it's really good. And look, we have a lot of people from this area because we're in Baltimore, who are listeners. Look, if you're from Baltimore, I think you'll love it. Like, I think it gives like Micah said, it gives you an extra star just because it's like, yo, this is our, this is Black Baltimore culture. So that's kind of dope. And for those of you who are not from Baltimore, illegal dirt bikes are a very big thing. Like, it's a very big thing here. I used to live on a really like main street in Baltimore, and there's a group of dirt bike riders called the 12 o'clock boys. And they used to drive on there all the time, like fucking quads and all that shit. Like anytime you ever watch a Rough Rider video, that's basically what it is. Which, yeah, there was a Rough Rider song featured in this, and I was like, that feels appropriate. But yeah, it's a super big thing. So if you're like, why is this a big deal? Why not regular motorcycles? Because dirt bikes are cheaper and they're illegal, so kids like to ride them.
Yeah, you don't have to get a cosigner to get a dirt bike.
Right, you don't need a loan. It was like $400, and I'm just gonna get it. And apparently this movie is actually based on the 12 O'Clock Boys too. So which is interesting as well. Like they, that was a documentary film, specifically, but so they kind of built a story out of the 12 O'Clock Boys to make this movie, which is dope.
You see one of the people that gets that story credit, right?
Oh no, I didn't.
Barry Jenkins.
Oh yeah, okay, there you go.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So,
I actually interviewed, not for this show, for another project I was working on. I interviewed one of the cinematographers who did the 12 O'Clock Boys. Dude was like, those guys are super wild. He was like, I had a good time, but those guys are fucking crazy, basically. But yeah, he's like, they're like real genuine dudes. So, all right. So the movie opens with sort of this kind of flashback of sorts where they're showing this young kid named Stro, who is Mouse's brother, doing some riding and stuff like that and doing tricks or whatever. Look, this kid is like a real person, right? Obviously I don't think it's the person who died, just someone in the movie, but like this dude is a real dirt bike rider. The shit he's doing is nuts. And they're just kind of showing him, and it's like a video, and you see Meek, who is part of the Midnight Clique. He's like promoting this guy. He's like, yeah, that's my boy or whatever. And then you see Mouse is in the video as a young kid, and he's like, I want to be like my brother. And you find out later on that Stro died. I think he was 17. I think the obituary said. And it kind of pans out, and you see Mouse in modern day looking at the video that was made of his brother and stuff like that. So he's kind of reminiscing, and he just idolizes his brother because his brother, of course, died at 17. So he was just basically perfect. So we come to find out, like, Mouse is basically this like, he's like a good kid, right? Like, he's not really into anything bad, but he just wants to ride dirt bikes and be like his brother. He also works at a vet clinic, and just not kind of volunteers there, just trying to make his way.
He gets paid under the table there, but he does show an interest in animals, and that's one of the things I like about this character, is that this character is not your stereotypical. Not even stereotypical isn't the right word, but when you see us, you see people see like violent criminals, right? When that guy shot Tamir Rice, he saw he saw a mouse, but he saw a criminal,
right?
Or he saw a black guy and just wanted to shoot him. I don't know what the fuck that.
But in his mind, you're right. He saw a criminal.
But in his mind, he immediately thought bad, and Mouse isn't bad.
No, he's not.
Whatever that word means to you, he's not bad, right? He's actually quite intelligent. He shows an aptitude for animals and helping animals. He is a normal boy.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I wanted to stress, is that he's a boy. And one of the things that happens later on, and it happens with our coming of age films, is that, boys want to be men. Yeah. And I'm a firm believer in letting boys be boys, man. Like, and children in general, don't try to grow up too fast.
Yeah. I mean, it's very weird, right? Because it's sort of like a double-edged sword, especially in the black community, which is right. Our kids are like, you want your kids to remain innocent and to be kids, but because of the nature in the world that they live in, you can't keep them so innocent and blind for so long because it's dangerous. Right. And so you have to tell them things, and you have to inform them of a world that is designed against them, thus making them more adult, thus killing their innocence, thus killing the thing that you are trying to preserve. It is right. And you wish that you could, we've all seen, not, maybe not all this, but I know you and I have definitely seen people who are products of parents who are trying to keep their kids innocent, and then and they may accomplish that, but then when their kids get older, they're just like, wait,
Right.
wait, this is happening? Yeah, because your parents didn't prepare you for the world.
Right.
And again, I understand why they wouldn't to an extent, right?
And I don't mean shelter, right? Like,
Right.
I don't mean shelter, but yeah, and I also understand that, you know, there are certain circumstances. Like, this kid is his mom is a single parent who goes to work and school, and he has to watch his kid sister, right? Like, he is put in situations that no child should be put in. And you kind of have to, you know, quote unquote, be the man of the house or whatever, especially because your older brother passed away. So you know, that's another thing that's weighing on you. Like, I get it.
Which we find out was weighing on his brother.
Right.
Yeah.
And I 100% understand that. But if you can, you know, try to, I don't know, because I don't want to tell people how to parent their child. But.
Right. No, I hear you. Like, you want to try to keep them as innocent for as long as you can.
Like, I wanted to be this cop in this movie so bad, not because he was a cop, but he was one of the two father figures that this character has. And it's frustrating, you know, because you see this kid, you like this kid, you want to keep him on the straight and narrow, and just not even straight, not just trying to look out for him. You know what I mean? Because he's a kid. I don't know. This movie hit me in ways that most coming of age films don't. You know what I mean?
I figured it would, because I think you're a good dad, and that makes sense. You're not a heartless prick. You're a prick, but not a heartless prick. I mean,
yeah.
Please. I'm not going to be that nice to you, but I figured it would, and I wonder, and this is one of the things I want to ask you: is it because of this movie in what it deals with, or is it because now that you're a dad and you're seeing these movies? Because I feel like if you go back and watch those other movies, it might it might hit you differently too.
It's 100% because I'm a father.
Yeah.
It's 100% because I'm a father. It's 100% because while I didn't grow up in West Baltimore, I spent a lot of time in East Baltimore, and it ain't
different.
It ain't no better.
No.
West Baltimore gets all the props because that's where The Wire was filmed. But, you know,
East Baltimore is a problem too. God damn.
But it hits me because I'm a dad. It hits me because it's Baltimore. It hits me because they're black.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just a combination of the thing, man. Like, yeah, and then I start thinking about my son, and then I start thinking about the world, right? Like, look, we're taping this after we found out the good news that Trump is not going to be not going to have a second term. And I was telling my wife, man, I was like, yo, I don't know what we're gonna do if Trump gets a second term. He can't. Do we homeschool him? Do we? Yeah. What do we do?
Look, I'll tell you what we were planning on doing. My wife was like, like, they got positions I could teach around the world. I'm like, you right? Nigga, we can do this over Zoom. Like, no, like, I was not. I was 100% not interested in raising a black daughter in this country. 100%.
Yeah, yo.
That was not.
I
know people were like, oh, everybody says they're gonna move. I was like, no, we were fucking totally serious. Like, no, no, I don't joke about my kid's future. Like, no. Look, I don't like the cold, but you know what? Canada don't seem that bad. Like, it just don't.
You know, Montreal is pretty much an American city.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It is. It's just America Junior up there. Get out of here. It is. It might be America Senior, the way we act versus the way they act. I don't know. I'll go to America 2.0.
Montreal is white Detroit. That's all.
That's fine. Right? You have to live underground like a mole for like 6 months, but it's so damn cold up there. But it'll all work out. Probably go to Toronto, right? There's a couple of Jamaicans up there. Drake's there. Right? It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, look, I mean, I think watching these sort of coming of age stories. This one, I mean, it hits me from the perspectives you were talking about. Not as much like from a dad perspective, it does, but this is really solidly focused on boys, and it's like that's not lost on me. And so, like issues of like what it is to be a man and how to learn to be a man and things like that are powerful messages in this, and I think they're powerful messages in a lot of obvious ways, but they're also powerful messages as what it is to be a black man in Baltimore specifically, right? Like there are aspirations, right? Like the dirt bikes in this movie represent, they don't just represent a dirt bike. They also represent freedom, and they represent sort of like rebellion and just that sort of aspect of what it is to just be a free soul in the world and do what you want to do, legal or not, right? Like they represent that, but at the same time they represent a path of illegality and like this path that can take you down a road of selling drugs and like doing these terrible things and robbery and stuff like that to get those things, right? So it's sort of this dual purposed MacGuffin that the movie surprisingly wields very well. I thought it wielded it better than I would think it would, considering the subject matter. So yeah, I was impressed. Yeah. So at one point we see Mouse. He goes to this sort of this like disheveled looking warehouse. He meets up with this other kid who's got all of these who's got a little quad bike. If you don't know, a quad is a four-wheeler that he can sell him, right? And so the Mouse is like, yo, he's like, yo, does it start? And he's like, yeah, it starts. He's like, all right, nigga, then start it up. I don't trust you, basically. And he eventually he starts it up, and it's like a mini quad. Like this is like I had one of these like a Fisher Price quad. As far as I'm concerned,
this is a step up from a Power Wheel.
Yeah, it's barely a step up, but Mouse is really happy because it's sort of his first step into having his own bike. You gotta walk before you run, that kind of thing, right? And so he's like, all right, yo, what are you gonna do with it? He's like, I'm driving it out of here. Like, I ain't gonna be no big deal. I ain't gonna get caught. And he's like, all right, cool. And then like smash cut to the next scene, he's pulled over by the police, which is hilarious. And then we get this the cop who pulled him over, this white cop, calls Detective Rivers, who comes over, who's a black cop, who knows Mouse and is his mentor. He calls him over and he's like, hey, look, man, I knew you were I know you know this kid, so like trying to give this kid a chance. So Detective Rivers goes and talks to him, and he's like, look, like, the fuck you doing? Like, you're not supposed to be on this thing. And he throws the quad in the back of his car, and he like gives him a ride home, right? And of course, like every kid, he wants to be dropped off a block away from his friends so he doesn't get seen with a cop with his quad bike in the back. And so, like, Detective Rivers, like you were mentioning, is like, he represents like someone of authority trying to just, like, a good dude trying to help Mouse. And like, he is well-intentioned, but he's also a cop. And as it's pointed out later, and I thought in a very good way, like, he's on someone's payroll to give a shit. And that's, while true, he does actually care about Mouse. But from Mouse's perspective and from an outside perspective, it would seem like he's just feigning that he gives a shit about him, which is not actually true. So yeah, I like the whole cop, looking out for you thing is definitely a hard pill to swallow for black kids in Baltimore, I'm sure. Just because, because around there, fuck police. Look, not trying to be an asshole about it, but like, right. like those areas are over policed. Police treat black kids like fucking shit. I mean, he's a young black kid. So
I mean, he saw it was a white cop that pulled him over. Like, that's the fucking problem right there. Like, that cop don't live there.
fuck
That cop don't. That cop don't live off of Edmondson and Poplar Grove. That cop don't live there.
I don't appreciate you pronouncing the full word. It's Poplar Grove, but whatever, Micah. Whatever.
Well, yeah. For those that don't know, it's not Popular Grove. It's Poplar Grove.
Poplar Grove. Yo,
That's
every
actually
place
how it spells, by the way.
Yeah.
Poplar.
Yeah. So Mouse goes. He gets dropped off at home. Hod's quad, and he goes in the house. So eventually, like his buddy, he sees his mom. His mom and his little sister are there. And he goes in the house and he's like hanging out in the house, and his buddies come up. His two friends, what are their names? Lamont and Swear to God. Lamont is like he's like trying to be like the cool guy, right? It's like he wants to be the pretty Ricky kind of guy of the crew, and Swear to God is the humorous fat kid. Like that's kind of what he is. Who actually has some pretty fucking hilarious lines.
Yeah, he's funny, man. He's funny and very likable. And this is a coming of age movie, and there can only be one. You got your hero, and you got his opposite, and then there's a third guy. I mean, what you think gonna happen?
Yeah,
he's lovable. He's fat. He's got a funny name.
Yeah, he gonna die.
Yeah, he gonna die, yo.
That's kind of sad. I was like, oh, maybe they. Oh, nope, they did. All right. God damn it. So
you have. So Swear to God is hopefully this boy's nickname. Mouse is the main.
Swear to God Jones. That's his Christian name.
Mouse is that character's nickname. Did you have a nickname growing up? I had one.
No.
Well, you ain't had, like, your people don't live in Baltimore, do they?
Yeah, all of them do.
All of them, like
everybody.
West Baltimore,
all of them. My parents are the only ones who don't live in the city.
And they never gave you a nickname? Not besides, the one nickname. They ain't never give you like my nickname that my cousin used to call me, my cousin Duty. My cousin Duty used to call me Booba. I don't know what that shit meant, but he used to call me Booba.
I'm sorry. That's funny. I definitely did not have the nickname Boop. Wow. No, nothing even close to that.
I had a cousin nicknamed Duty. I had a cousin nicknamed Wimpy. I had a cousin nicknamed Tweedle.
Oh, y'all niggas were like, yo, come on.
I had a cousin nicknamed Biddy. I had a cousin nicknamed Lala. Who else? These are all my mother's side of the family. My mother is the side that's from Baltimore. My father is from he was born in DC, and his parents were in Virginia, like deep in Virginia. But man, you ain't never have a nickname.
I did. I'm not gonna give it away. It's nothing embarrassing, but I'm not gonna.
Not that nickname, but like a different nickname.
Nah, I'm not gonna do that. But no, it was nothing embarrassing. It's not embarrassing.
No, it's nothing embarrassing.
No, but it's not. Yeah, I did. What was yours again?
Booba.
Booba. Yo, that's a wild nickname. That's super wild. That's hilarious. I was friends with a guy named Bula. That was his nickname. Baltimore nicknames are super crazy. Like, I don't know.
Booba. Baltimore nicknames make no goddamn sense.
Yeah. Booba. Wow. That is fucking unfortunate. It's like the opening of The Wire, where they were like, this dude's nickname was Snot Boogie. Like, that's a terrible ass nickname. God damn. Forever? That's his name forever? No. Fuck off. Absolutely not. You got to come up with something different. I'm not going around like that. I'm never going to see a woman naked with that nickname. It's just not going to happen for me. So yeah, his friends Lamont and swear to God, they come and get him, and they're like, "Yo, there's a straight up dime piece up the road. Come on, man, we got to go up there." And he's like, "All right." So he throws his clothes on, and he has to. His mom goes to work. He's supposed to be watching his sister, so his sister, in classic little sister mode of all of these type of movies, she was like, "I'm gonna need you to pay me, so I don't rat your ass out." And he was like, "You right. Let me hit you up." And he hit her with $3 and walked out. And, she was like, "Yo, this is not enough." It was 2020. Knock it off. So he goes out with his friends, and they head up to the block to see this girl that that swear to God and Lamont were talking about. And he goes up and he meets this girl. And it's hilarious, the conversation they have. And the one guy, Lamont's like, "Yeah, I'll talk to her. I'll be the first one to talk to her." And Mouse is like, "But nigga, you ugly. Like, what the fuck?" Like, he's like, "I got it. Don't worry. I'll be the one to talk to her." This feels like the most 14-year-old conversation with me and my friends growing up. Like it feels very real. And I think this is one of the reasons I liked this movie so much, is the dialogue between the kids feels genuine to me. Yeah. It's a thing that what's the guy who did oh fuck. I can't remember his name. It's the one director who does he was going to do The Flash at one point. I can't remember. African dude, but he writes teenage dialogue incredibly well, which always makes for his movies to be much more engaging. Because it doesn't 14-year-olds don't talk like 35-year-olds, and there's a certain way of writing that it comes off as genuine.
Rick Famuyiwa.
Thank you. That's exactly it. But that dude is an expert at writing kid dialogue. I don't know how. Maybe he's just a really young-minded, very immature guy. I don't know, but he writes teenagers and 20-somethings incredibly well.
You can credit that to Sherman Payne. He was a screenwriter for this movie.
Oh, well, there you go. So they meet this girl named Nikki, and immediately Mouse is enamored by her. And she seems to like him too. And this is where this kid, Jahi Winston, is just showing off that Baltimore accent, because he is just nailing every line. He sounds like he is from fucking Preston Street. He's got this shit down.
Yeah, he sounds like a dude from Baltimore trying to holler at a girl. You know, trying to be smooth, but you can't really be smooth when every third word out of your mouth is it just don't sound right.
Yeah. But I like Mouse has a level of confidence and stuff like that.
Yeah, man. I wish I had that kind of confidence.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why they called you Booba. That's a wild nickname. God damn. So she's she's being very kind to them, and she's staying with her grandmother apparently. And she's a photographer, and she's like, "Look, I need you guys to stand together," because she wants to get pictures of them and stuff like that. And she has a conventional camera, which they think is just really funny because it's not a digital camera. So they're like, "Oh, you must be broke," type of shit. Which is
right. How you know what the picture look like? It ain't got no screen on it.
Yeah, that's super wild to me. In 2020, just because 15 years ago, it'd be like, "Yo, how does it have a screen on it?" Right? Time shift. Even for poor kids, even they know, right. Yo, it ain't got no screen on it. What the fuck? Where's your cell phone, basically?
Right. 10 years ago, we were buying cameras at CVS, disposable cameras and shit. Right. Now it's just yo, your camera ain't got no screen on it. Yo, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. And it's yo, I'm broke, but even I know. It's supposed to have a screen. Come on. So they're Mouse is telling her about this thing called the Ride, right? Which is every Saturday in the summer, all these dirt bikes come out and do tricks and all this other stuff. And so he's trying to he's using the idea of educating her about what Baltimore is, because she just moved there from Oakland. as a way to flirt with her, right? Like it's like a classic thing, right? Like, let me teach you about the town kind of thing. And she's into it, right? And so he's telling her about the ride, and she's like, all right, maybe I'll come there. He's like, yeah, you could probably get some really good pictures. Then we fast forward to the three kids. They're in this like convenience store, and like, they're just talking and like bullshitting. And the convenience store comes up later on, but I just want to point out, like, it's a place they hang out. And they just go in there to buy a juice or whatever, and they're like riffing on each other. Like the two are talking about how Mouse's mom's got a big ass, and like, I mean, she knew though.
I mean, Tiana Parrish is a lovely human being.
Yeah. Hey, yo, Mouse, your mom is super fine.
We used to do that too.
Of course.
To this one dude named Alex. His mom was finer than a motherfucker, yo. It was Miss Sandy. Like, yeah, I remember you, Miss Sandy. She don't look that good now.
Oh,
yeah,
sad. So then we smash cut later on to the ride, right? Like, everybody's out at the ride. There's like all these people on dirt bikes and doing tricks, and one dude like doing a wheelie on a bike with no front tire, because again, it's very Baltimore. It just is. And look, if you're from Philadelphia, I don't want to hear shit. This is the same town you're from. Shut up. It's the exact same town.
Philly is if anybody wonders why I don't like Philadelphia, it's not that I don't like Philadelphia. It's just that Philadelphia is just Baltimore, right? Like, it's Baltimore with more places that sell Beijing. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same place, yo. It's the same place with
don't judge us.
Stupid accents. But when I went, and I actually go to Philadelphia way more often than I should, before all this, COVID stuff happened, because it's the next town worth a damn, right? It's the next town up that's worth a damn. And I remember we went there once to visit one of my wife's friends who was staying there, and we went to have dinner with some mutual friends of hers, who in turn brought people with them. Mm-hmm. And this one person was he was there, and he was a foreign gentleman. And I don't say that derisively or anything like that. He was just someone who was not born in America and then moved to Philadelphia. And he was going on and on and on about how classy Philadelphia is, and how it's unlike any place else that he's been in the United States, and how there's this and there's that and there's this and there's that. And I'm like, yo, shut the fuck up.
Yo, it's Philadelphia.
It's Philadelphia, yo. They throw batteries at people when they don't like their sporting events. They it's Philadelphia, yo. Like, they greet each other with punches. Like,
I love how this one guy set you off on I hate Philadelphia rant forever. You're like, no, fuck that whole city forever.
Like most of the things I hate, it's completely irrational and not the fault of the subject matter.
But still.
Fuck Philadelphia. Like, you ain't hot shit, yo.
I do remember my wife and I at one point being in a restaurant, and there was a guy, him and I guess his girlfriend were there. He was just like a really obnoxious guy. And he was like, we somehow struck up a conversation with them. And I think it was like he more struck up a conversation with us. I was like, I don't want to talk to this guy. And he was just like, oh yeah, I'm from New York. And I was just like, oh, here we fucking go.
That's it.
There we go. All right. Everything east of the Hudson doesn't exist. I know, you fucking prick. And like, my wife lived in New York for a number of years. Like, she knows the city very well. And I've been in New York a number of times. And he's like, yeah, like, this is good, but like, you can get such a great thing in New York. And I was like, oh, really? Wow, that's really cool. I just want to blow my fucking brains out. This conversation is awful.
Then, you piece of shit.
Like, yo, New York, it's a great city. It's not the only city. Relax.
Right. Terrence is literally from New York and will say it's a good, nice place to visit. Don't want to live there.
But in fairness, that nigga's he's from the same town Bill O'Reilly. Bill O'Reilly was Terrence's neighbor growing up. A lot of people don't know that. Don't ask him to fact check it. That's irrelevant. Just believe me. But they're both from Long Island. So, they're neighbors. Same thing. So at the ride, which is outside of a hip hop fish and chicken, of course it is. That's real. That's not a made up place. Look, have you never been to Baltimore? Look, hip hop fish and chicken. Yeah, their fucking fish is the shit. It's amazing. And they can make 150 pieces of fried chicken in 8 minutes. And I'm not just saying that. I literally ordered that for my parents' cookout once.
I mean, their fish is banging. Their chicken is banging. Look, they throw all the shit in the same batter.
Yep.
Fish,
ain't no different.
chicken. They sprinkle. Look,
crack, nigga.
Crack. It ain't salt. It's crack.
yeah, crack, nigga. That shit.
Whatever them seasonings are, it is banging.
Yeah. They figured it out. And it's a franchise, too. If you got money, you should open a hip-hop fish and chicken, but you got to open it in a black neighborhood. You'll make $1 billion. It's easy.
Ain't no way in 4 hells I'm getting a hip-hop fish and chicken where I live at.
Oh, hell no. Nah.
I can't even get a Royal Farms where I live at.
No, not where I live at either, nigga. What the fuck?
You got a Royal Farms up the street.
No, we get a Royal Farms is one thing. I'm saying a hip-hop fish and chicken.
Oh, no.
Fuck.
You gotta go to your old place to be near.
Oh, nigga, there was one less than a minute and a half away from my old house. Are you serious? Hell yeah. Shit was close as fuck. You could open the back door, you could smell it like from the backyard. Get out of here. For those of you who think I've always lived in like a bougie neighborhood, nigga, no, I did not. No. A lot of moments in this movie, I'm like, yo, that looks like my street. Like, hold on a second. Fuck no. So while they're at the ride, they're watching all these guys do their thing, and swear to God, and Lamont are like, yeah, I bet you can't do none of that on your little baby quad Honda bullshit bike, and he's like, yo, fuck y'all, I'm gonna do it anyway, and he's like, they were like, nah, yo, we just kidding, don't do that, like, the fuck are you doing? Like, you're gonna embarrass yourself, like, don't do that. And so he's like, nah, fuck that, and he goes off to do some tricks on his, again, little bullshit bike. And he gets it up. He gets a wheelie. And then he totally fucking eats it because he like hits a rock or something, and the bike jerks forward and he goes flying off the front of it, which is just unfortunate. And he falls right in front of Nikki, who is there taking pictures, which is pretty embarrassing. But like a man, he shakes it off and he was like, you see me? I was out there. Which he reminds me of my cousin in his confidence, in his wild confidence. So I did love that. And she's like, yeah, like, that's how you fall, nigga. Like, that's what I saw. But she appreciated him being confident about it.
Yeah, she said, but I felt like a man.
Yeah, he ain't crying nothing. Lip bleeding and shit, bleeding through his teeth. like, no, but I'm good. I ain't heard of nothing. And so the police come because the ride is in the middle of the day. And everybody is about to disperse. And actually, right before they disperse, the Midnight? Yeah, the Midnight Clique shows up right before the cops get there. And these are like the coolest dudes on the planet, right? In Mouse's eyes. Led by Meek and these other guys. And they're just like, they're the shit. Like these guys are like really good on bikes. Like they just are impressive. Have you ever seen the 12 O'Clock Boys when you lived in Baltimore?
I heard them. I used to live on Charles Street downtown.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Some apartment buildings. And the apartment buildings overlooked Pratt Street, my side of it.
Yeah.
Sorry, folks, this is very local, but they overlooked Pratt Street, one of the main thoroughfares in downtown Baltimore. And every once in a while, I would hear them, and it would be it would be around midnight, right? Like I'm trying to sleep and shit. But I would hear them, and then one day I went to the window and saw them, and yeah, they were just fucking, yeah, you know. And I was pissed because I wanted to go to sleep.
I used to drive by my house all the time, dude. Because it's like where I used to live is like a straightaway for
right.
I don't know. It's like a mile and a half, just complete straightaway, and they would just be out there fucking going crazy. It's kind of awesome to watch. Like you said, like. Y'all shut the fuck up, trying to sleep.
Yeah, I can we watch this at the other 12 o'clock?
Right, exactly. You be the 12 o'clock noon boys? Like, no, that's not. All right. Okay, cool. So 12 o'clock, for people who don't know, means like basically when you pop a wheelie, but you lean the bike all the way straight back. Fuck that. That seems insane. But these guys can pull it off. Like
they can do it. Like they'll pop a wheelie and then drag their hands on the back side of it. Like that's how high the front wheel is.
Yeah.
And look, it's real impressive.
Like it is. The shit looks dope as fuck. It does, especially in real life. It's nuts. What's interesting, as a side note, is that Meek is in this movie. And like dirt bikes are kind of a close thing to him because he was, I believe, when he was on parole, this is what he went back to jail for on that like bullshit trumped up charge of him riding illegal dirt bikes in Philly. So like this is also a part of who he is, right? Like he's not just pretending to be of this world, like he kind of is of this world.
Right.
And so, you know, him, he goes by, his character's name is Blax. And a bunch of other people from the Midnight crew are there. It's interesting because Mouse has this great line where he's talking to Nikki and she was like, "Oh, who are these guys?" And he's like, "Oh, that's the Midnight crew or Midnight Clique." And he's like, "You ever heard of Michael Jordan?" She's like, "Yeah, of course." He was like, "Well, in West Baltimore, Blax is that nigga," like which is dope. And Blax sees Mouse. And again, Blax was really close to Stro, Mouse's brother. And he Blax is just like fresh out of jail. So he hadn't seen Mouse in a long time. So when he saw him, he was just like, they kind of had a connection there for a second. Then the police show up and this is one of the cooler scenes in the movie, like from a cinematography aspect.
Yep.
Everybody disperses and some in the Midnight Clique were like, "Nah, this is my favorite part." And these motherfuckers put their mask on and took a brick out and threw it into the cop's window to get them to chase him, just to have fun. I was surprised how well this was shot. Like as an action scene.
Was too. This is a really fun. It's a fun chase scene.
Yeah.
You know, the camera gets real low and they're moving very fast. I would like to see how this was actually filmed. Yeah. It's not cut up too much.
No, not really.
Yeah, it's a really cool, really fun. It makes you want to get a dirt bike, though.
Yeah. Yeah, this one nigga was like, he was wilding, yo. He was like, "Nah, fuck that. I'm just gonna break this police officer's glass, throw up the bird, and then hop on my dirt bike and fucking bounce." I'm like, "Yo, you are a wild dude." That's insane. But yeah, it shot really cool. I thought they would just kind of ride away and then like that was gonna be it. And they were like, "Nah, yo, like we hired these dirt bike niggas for a reason. Like we gonna show these guys, like these dudes are doing wheelies around cars and shit. Like it's nuts." And just driving in Baltimore alleys. Like I know, like there's one part that they pass and I'm like, "Yo, that's not that far from where I used to live." Like Baltimore Meadworks or whatever. Like that's just really not that far. Yeah, it's nuts. Like they show them going through alleys and shit. Like it's a dope scene. Like I actually really was impressed by the shooting, like the filming of this, because I would not have thought that this would have ended up in this movie. Yeah. But yeah, they did a good job. It was fun. And if you like, for folks who don't know, who aren't local, like Baltimore City police have a no chase policy on dirt bikes. Like this scene is not really going to happen because in Baltimore, like unless they shot somebody, they're not chasing them, you know?
Right.
Not even for a broken window. They're not chasing them.
Right. Like that's how you that's that leads to a lot more collateral damage.
Yeah,
chasing,
well, because that's what used to happen is they would chase these guys, and like, all right, they're on a dirt bike. Like, is it necessary to chase them down and then like one of these kids get killed? Like,
right?
That's stupid.
I mean, what you're gonna do a pit maneuver on a bike with somebody against somebody on a bike?
right?
Like you're gonna cut them off, T-bone them, and like, nah, yo, you can't. You can't, yo.
Yeah, you can't do shit like that. So there was a lot of kids getting like killed by police or getting killed in accidents by police because they were being chased and shit. And then other things of like, you know, innocent people getting hit by police cars or getting hit by bikes and shit like
somebody in this area, a kid just died because a cop chased him and ran him down. I think he was trying to get away on a scooter or something.
Right, and they chased him in traffic.
Right, and the cop hit him with his car.
Yep, it's unnecessary. I think it was DC or close to DC, right?
Yeah.
Oh, right, it was in Silver Spring, right where you live.
It was in this area.
Yeah,
so the DC metropolitan area, like it was fucked up, yo.
Yeah, so. Yeah, look, that scene is dope. That one dude who's actually a dirt bike, like a real dirt bike rider, you know, like when he's doing that like fucking wheelie and then stepping back and forth on the seat, I was like, yo, nigga, you are crazy, but that shit looks super dope. Like it looks super cool, man.
He's doing like a Michigan J Frog at high speeds while doing a wheelie.
This nigga's doing the Charleston. Like, get away from cops on a wheel. It's nuts. He also sounds exactly like my uncle, which is wild. Like, he does. He just does. He sounds, and I know that they listen to this show. I know he listens to the show. So, Sean, this dude sounds just like you. He does. It might be his cousin because they kind of look similar too. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. So yeah, that scene was very dope. I thought it was cool. So then we like cut back. The kids are in the convenience store, and they're they're once again they were just hanging out and kind of giving Mouse a hard time. So they decided they're gonna go up to where the Midnight Clique is, and they're gonna go and try to hang out with them. They're like, nah, fuck this. We're just going up there. Like, okay. On their regular bicycles and a little quad. They roll up there, and this one chick who kind of looks like Snoop from The Wire, who is not really a character, it's a real person. She rolls up to them with a gun cocked, and she's like, "Yo, what y'all doing up here?" And they're like, "Yeah, nah, we good. We just hanging around." And she's like, "Y'all can't play here. Like, fuck out of here." And so they're like, "Yeah, we just chilling, like just trying to like kind of punk her or whatever." I'm like, this does not bode well for you. Like, I would not do this. Then the other dude walks over who was doing the fucking Charleston on the bike, was like, "Y'all don't know this is a girl? You show some respect." And the one Lamont was like, "I couldn't tell." I was like, again, all right, you trying to get shot. And so they were like, "Yo, we just want to hang out with them, hang out with y'all." And they were just like, "Look, fuck off. Like, we're not you're kids. We don't fuck with kids. Get the fuck out of here." So they run off. Mouse goes to leave because they were like, "All right, you want to hang out with us? Show us some tricks on that quad." And he was like, "All right," and he tries to start it up, and he can't start it up, which is embarrassing. And then his friends like fucking dip on him, and then they just walk. The rest of the crew walks away, and so while he's trying to fix it, Blax walks up, who works at that garage, and he's like, "All right, let me give you a hand," and like again, Mouse is enamored with him, right? Like to him, this dude, like he said, like he's the Michael Jordan of fucking West Baltimore, but also he is weirdly already like a father figure to him, whether he knows it at this point or not, right? What do you think of Meek's performance, by the way? I don't think you mentioned.
I think he did a solid job. It's very believable. You know, it's one of those roles where it's I can't imagine Meek Mill has a lot of range. But
Yeah, probably not.
But this is within his range, so he does it well. And I liked his character. His character is a guy who did some bad things, and now he knows he's trying to keep his nose out of trouble. Right. It's very hard when you go back to the people that you were in trouble with, but those are your friends. So I get it. But the character is interesting to me, and but I think that the character, while probably if Mouse wasn't there, the character would be the same character. I think he takes to Mouse because of situations because he knew his brother,
right,
and situations that we found out about later. But yeah, I don't think he befriends, he doesn't befriend the other kids, right?
No, fuck those kids.
Right.
I mean, he literally was like, "Nah, I ain't make a deal with your friends. Fuck out of here."
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
So he agrees, in a conversation, he agrees to help Mouse rebuild a bike. And he was like, "Look, if you work on it and rebuild it, I got enough scraps here. If you build it, you can have it." Right? Like that, and I'll teach you how to rebuild it. And it's his way of sort of payback in helping Stroh's brother, because he was good friends with Stroh, and for other reasons, which we'll find out later. So obviously Mouse is like, yeah, that sounds like a fucking great deal. What about my friends? And he's like, all right, look, I ain't making no deal with your friends, but if they come and work too at 6:30 in the morning, there's enough here to build other bikes too. And he's like, all right, cool. So they all show up at 6:30 in the goddamn morning, and they start working. I mean, it's obvious that Swear to God and Lamont aren't nearly as serious about it as he is, and so they kind of eventually just you constantly see him still working and the other two kind of just goofing off, and then they kind of just go, fuck it, I'm done. I'm not really trying to go.
That's what he was like, fuck this Mr. That's what he was like, fuck this Mr. Miyagi shit. Yeah. You ain't getting paid for it.
Yeah.
And Mouse is, he's spending all his time here, and not spending any time at the veterinarian's office.
Right.
The veterinarian's office, while he was too young to collect a paycheck, they were kind of paying him under the table, and he was actually learning. He was learning things. Yeah. Not that he wasn't learning things at the garage either, right? You need, I don't know how to fix a fucking bike. I don't even know how to fix a Huffy.
You're right. Let alone rebuild a dirt bike from scratch. Nigga, what?
Right. So, but it's one of those things where it's he's got he's at a crossroads, and he's got decisions to make, and he chooses his passion, which I don't fault anybody for that, right? I don't fault it, especially a kid.
Right. That's what you're supposed to do, frankly.
Right.
Right.
Most kids don't have passion.
No. Or their passion is I want to be a basketball player. Well, okay.
Right. That's a want. A passion is putting in the work.
Right.
And most kids don't want to put in that work. Them swear to God, Lamont want to be dirt bike riders, but they don't have a passion for it. Which is good, which is something that I want my son to see. I would love for my son to develop some sort of interest in something, and then just be focused on it, right? And focused on having a dream, right? I that's one of the regrets in my life, is that I didn't have enough of a passion for the things that I enjoy, and now I'm not doing them. And
right.
It just, I don't know. It sucks.
Yeah. I mean, having a passion for things, I don't necessarily think you have to have them as a kid, but it does help, right? Like if you have a passion for something early and you're like, I'm going to do this, and then you focus your entire life on that, that's dope, right? Because you can go far if you're good at it and you're willing to work. Look, I didn't develop a passion, my particular passion, until 2011. So how about that?
Right, right.
And but at the same time, like, this is what we do, and we're really, we have a really good time at it. Some folks think we do pretty good at it, so it is what it is. But yeah, it's it would be nice to have that kind of passion for like dirt bikes or whatever, or whatever it is, at a young age. I mean, Mouse is literally 14 years old.
Yeah, and that's my point, right? Like I love that this movie shows that, again, little black boys are multifaceted. Like they're not they're good at many things.
Right.
And it's not all, what old people, myself included, think that young people are, right? Like when a boomer sees a 14-year-old, they're probably thinking, oh, he just wants to play video games and this, that, and the other. Like, nah, yo, like here we have this character, 14-year-old boy who shows a passion for animals, right, and taking care of them and learning how to save their lives. And
being a veterinarian is not a bullshit job. Like, this is
right, dude.
That's a real ass job. Like, yes, quite
right. Like, as much as I am not an animal person, like, they're living creatures, man. Like, they're living beings, and they deserve to live on this planet. They don't deserve to die. If you can help one, help one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And working with his hands and being a mechanic and knowing that trade. Like, I like this movie.
Yeah, I tell you, man, it's pretty goddamn good. And again, the idea of showing a young black boy in a coming of age story is not as common as you'd think. Right?
It really isn't, man.
Like, it really isn't. Like, look, showing a little black girl as a coming of age story is even more rare. Like, but it's mostly coming of age stories on mostly white kids.
I mean, I think you get more with girls than you do with boys.
You think so? Black kids?
Yeah. The Hate You Give, Sailor in the Spades.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, The Hate You Give. That definitely is one.
Roxanne, Queen of Katwe. Because I looked at a list. I was like, yo,
Queen of Katwe. We did that movie. Yeah, it was the most super Disney movie. I mean, it is a coming of age, but
right, it is a coming of age movie that exists.
Yeah, it does exist.
Pariah is a coming of age movie.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. That's true.
In this vein, you know what I mean? So you get more than you do with little black boys. And I'm not saying that like it's not a competition. Right. You know what I mean? Like
it's not the oppression Olympics.
Right. I'm just pointing it out.
Yeah. I get it. What about men? I get it, Mike. I get it. Yeah. Yeah. What about men's rights? We understand. Got you loud and clear. No problem. Like, I would love it. So that's what someone got him in. Like, I always knew that about him. Fucking weird. So let's fast forward a little bit. We have a scene where let's see. I'm gonna kind of move to. Okay. So after a while, we see Mouse working at, like, the other two kids, Lamont and Swear to God, have kind of just like, we're done with this Mr. Miyagi bullshit, right? And Mouse is still sticking it out. At some point, Blax is like, look, I got this bike. I just got fixed up. Fucking super clean. This shit is like brand new. Here's what I need you to do. I need you to go deliver it to this one dude. Don't stop nowhere. Just deliver the bike. Take the bus back. Stop all that bullshit. He's like, all right, work. And so this is like the big, like, he gets to like really do something. And he gives him this brand new dirt bike. And Mouse like goes and finds Lamont and swear to God, and he's like, yeah, check out this fucking bike. This shit is dope. This is what happens when you listen to Blax, nigga. I'm awesome. Because he's 14. Like, because fucking of course you do. This is of course, that's exactly what you do. And then the second thing you would do, you stun on your boys, because fuck them. And then you try to look impressive to a girl. So he goes by Nikki's house and he's like, hooty hoo. and she comes out. And he's like, yeah, look at this bike. I'm the shit. And so she comes out and he takes her for a ride on it. And they go down to some place in wherever the fuck they were, somewhere in East Baltimore. And like they're just hanging out. And like she's clearly impressed by the fact that like, oh, he's got this dirt bike and it's cool looking. It doesn't look like his little Honda mini quad bullshit. Looks like a real dirt bike. And so they're talking and like it's a cute little like kid romance. Like it is. And then this one dude was like, hey, I used to know your brother, Let me hold that. Let me hold your bike for a little bit. Let me just drive it to the end of the block and back.
Yo,
Nigga,
don't give cracked out Kevin Durant your bike.
Yeah, no.
Don't do it, yo.
Nigga, get the fuck out of here. No.
And fucking cracked out Kevin Durant is like, because he sees him sitting there with his girl, with the girl, right? And he's like, "Oh, come on, man, you ain't scared, are you?" No, I'm not scared, because sitting in front of a girl, right? And guys do stupid stuff to try and impress girls.
Yo, she's literally like, "Don't do
it." Right. That would be more impressive to her.
Yeah,
no,
like,
man,
like, nah.
And this dude fucking, he rides to the end of, this is what's fucked up. He rides to the end of the block and then comes back and then it's like, yeah, I'm gonna just go around the block. And then
I need a little bit more space, you.
Right. And just takes off.
And that nigga got on the bridge and bounced.
And and Mouse immediately knew. He was just like, shit. Like
yeah, ain't no space back here, man. And just fucking took the bike. Shut up.
I mean, look, it's one of them. This is one of those things that's so realistic to me because little kids do that shit.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And like, niggas do shit like that to kids.
And niggas do shit like this to children. And it's just one of them. It's one of them life lessons that the only way you're going to learn it is if it happens to you.
Mm-hmm.
So he
trust no one. That's the life lesson. Yo, he exactly. broke that fucking helmet. He was so pissed. It's like, God damn it. Yo, I like that they cut back to swear to God, Lamont. They were like, yo, what the fuck were you thinking letting this nigga ride your bike? Yo, you out of your mind? Hell no. And Lamont's like, look, I might know where that dude stay because he's like notorious for cutting up bikes, right? He's like, I'm just saying, he was like, look, I might know where this dude is. And he's like, I'll find out. And so they go to, the guy's name is Derek. And they go and they find where Derek is. Derek comes out and he's like, yo, you stole my bike. And he was like, niggas get bikes that's stolen every day, B. Like, basically, like he ain't even trying to deny this shit, give an excuse. He was just like, it is what it is, like
hey, it's gone now. Oh, yeah. Well,
like, God damn, nigga, it's been 25 minutes. Like, so he was like, yo, look, shit he literally was like, shit happens all the time. Like as if it's out of his control. Like, nigga, you stole it. Like, what the fuck? Shit happens all the time. Like, I got on it, just disappeared, nigga. I don't know. So he's like, all right, yo, go home, Mouse. And he's just like, just walked out. And Mouse is like, yeah, all right, let's go. And Lamont's like, nah, fuck that. It was like, nah, yo, fuck out of here. And like, Lamont rolls up on him like pretty tough. I'm like, you 14, dog? Like, this is a grown ass nigga. He like 28 years old. And that dude straight pulls a gun out and points it right at his head. I was like, oh, damn, Lamont going to die.
Right. Yo, this nigga pulled a gun on a child, yo.
Yeah. He was like, keep talking all that cash shit if you want to. Yo, I'm not built for this East Baltimore shenanigans. I'm just not. You're not gonna pull no gun on me. I'll be like, all right, you got it, dog. You got it. Like,
right.
It's a dirt bike, nigga. It's an illegal dirt bike. I'm a god.
Right. You can call me all kinds of bitches all you want. I'm gonna be the bitch that's gonna be sleeping in his bed.
Right. Alive. Like, yeah, you a bitch ass nigga. You right? Yeah, I peed the bed, nigga. I was scared. Whatever. I'm alive. Fuck all that. Yeah, so like he's got the gun to Lamont's head, and the fucking Midnight Clique rolls up. I assume because I don't know. I guess maybe Lamont told them like where this dude was, and they rolled up, and like they had guns or whatever.
That's the only plot hole that I don't really understand because these kids like they didn't call him, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the way Lamont was like, "Sup, nigga," like it kind of made me feel like maybe he did.
Technically, they said that whenever one of our bikes gets stolen, of course we're going to hear about it.
Yeah,
and that's a flimsy way of kind of
right,
saying like this is where they at. This is how they knew.
Yeah, it's nigga LoJack. I get it.
Right, but I'll give it a pass. It's not that big of a deal. I'll give it a pass, but it's
Yeah, I mean, streets, the streets talk, right? Like, yo, I saw your bike that you was working on over at so and so. Derek took it, and be like, all right, well, I know where that nigga's at. Like,
right.
I mean, shit like that happens in the hood all the time. So the Midnight Clique rolls up. Meek gets right into Derek's face, and he was like, "You know who I am, right?" and he was like, "Yeah." He was like, "You're MNC Blax," and he was like, "Shut up, nigga." He was like, "You're right. I'm sorry." Like, my bad. And at one point, the one chick was like, the snoop of the crew was like, "Yo," she pulled out a gun. She was like, "Don't get done up by a girl, my nigga." Like, which I thought, even she sees it as being shot by a girl as somehow less respectful than being shot by a man, which I'm like, I hear you on your point. It really is really kind of pushing, gender roles, which I think are unnecessary.
You gotta think of it in a different way, right? Like,
but I'm also terrified of you.
Like, you gotta think of it like, it's not that it's, exacerbating gender normality. It's like trying to embarrass him and his ego.
Yeah.
Like,
but I just think that shit's funny. Like, don't get it done up by a girl. Yo, I'm like, but right. you're the girl. Like, all right. Like,
right. Because that would make you a bitch.
Right. Like, I'm just saying, like, I'm tough as fuck, but you be a bitch for letting me shoot you. Like, all right.
Right.
You know what?
Like, I'm the toughest motherfucking woman you ever meet, but I'm still a girl. Like, all right.
Like, yo, your hair's not in pigtails. Relax.
Yeah, right. Calm down.
Like, that shit I just found that shit funny. It's a great line.
Literally earlier in this movie, a guy would be like, "Yo, this a girl, right?"
Right. Like, they really running that fucking joke in. I did like after Blax was like, "You know who I am," and the guy answered him, and then Blax was like, "Shut up, nigga." He was like, "That was a rhetorical question." Like, I learned that word in jail, nigga. The library. And so they immediately just go and just take the gun out of his hand. Like, the fuck out of here. What you gonna do? And so like, basically they just like they punk this dude, right? And Blax is like, "Look, you ever touch one of our bikes again, we're gonna come in here and blow your fucking head off." It's a solid statement. I believe it. That would be enough for me to stop. And so then the one dude who walks up, I don't know the character's name. His real name is like Chino. But he goes, well, not real name, but his real Baltimore name, Booba, if you will, is Chino. So we'll just go with Chino. He just comes up and he's like, "Look, are we gonna fuck this dude up? Like, stole one of our bikes." And Blax is like, "Nah, it's over. Like, he heard me. Like, no, I'm not fucking around," type of shit. And And Lamont was just like, nah, fuck that. Lamont hit that dude in the head with a brick.
I mean, I get it, yo.
You can't just hold a gun on a nigga,
yo. Shut the fuck. You better get the fuck out of here, man.
Yeah, Lamont was about that. Like, I mean, look, in fairness, yeah, yo, he put a gun to that dude's head. Like,
right. That's what I'm saying. I'm not mad, yo. I'm not mad at all.
All I could think was, oh, this nigga's gonna shoot Lamont in the head later on. Like, that's what's gonna happen. But yeah, Chino had to pull Lamont off of him, because he was beating dude so badly. And then Chino was like, yeah, you learn your lesson, right? And then he just fucking hit him with the butt of his gun to knock him out. And then he calls him a bitch ass nigga, which is the most Baltimore shit I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have called him a dummy, because that also works.
The other thing that is the most Baltimore thing ever is somebody calls somebody else a whore.
Yeah,
that is the most Baltimore thing ever.
You whore.
Yo, y'all some whores, yo.
Why is that word the word you use? It's so funny. So you kind of get a sense of where Lamont might be going in the movie. Then we get a scene of Mouse walking in on his mom in her best Jess Hilarious outfit, who is has to take a little break from school because she is broke, because you see some like final notice letters on the coffee table. So she's just, like, they're struggling, right? They're financially struggling.
Yeah.
And it's weird because she's drinking out of a best dad mug, which is interesting as well. I don't know if there's symbolism there. So at a certain point, Mouse goes up to Blax and he's like, yo, I need you to help me. I need you to put me on. And Blax is like, yo, it don't cost me, like, building these bikes, I can't pay you. Like, that's not what this is about. And he's like, no. I guess the character who Chino plays is named Jamal. He was like, no, Jamal is who I'm talking about. Like, I need you to put me on with these dudes who are like selling drugs and shit like that and robbing niggas in your crew. Because Blax doesn't do that because he's on parole. So he's like, parole. I just fix bikes. Like, he's legitimate about that. Like, he doesn't do that shit. But he does get a cut of the money because he's in the crew, which Mouse noticed earlier in the movie. We didn't mention. I mean, what are your thoughts about the Blax character? Like, as far as him trying to stay out of that life.
So again, this is Mouse's other father figure in this role, and it's funny. You see, the two father figures are pretty much diametrically opposed, right?
Yeah, I would argue. Pretty different.
But they do have one thing in common, and they do care about this boy.
Right.
And I thought that I wasn't going to like Meek Mill as an actor and as this character, right? I thought this character was going to be what Jamal ends up being, you know, like a corrupting force.
Right.
And then the cop would have to come in and there would be a showdown between those two or whatever, right? And I was pleasantly surprised that it's not. No matter, I love the fact that these two men who are on opposite sides, they still care about this kid.
Yeah.
And you don't see that, especially, you don't see that anywhere, man. You don't see men loving children. And I'm not, like, no, like, I'm being real serious, You don't see men coming to bat for children, especially black men. You always see black men doing wrong or in jail or dead or just not fucking around. And
then you get like an outside, like, oh, there's a white cop who gives a shit, like that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. So the fact that these two men both love this kid and they each want to see him prosper, and they want to do right by him. Like it really touched me, man. Like because you don't see it. You don't see it anywhere.
I would argue there's one place that you've seen it recently that was pretty powerful, and rightfully so, which is in Moonlight. You know, Mahershala Ali's character as the drug dealer, but
he died halfway through it. Or he wasn't around halfway through it.
Right.
You know
but like, I mean, it was so impactful that like he won an Oscar for it. But that's how much of a rarity that position black men are shown in. Right. Which is like, yeah, he was an unsavory character, obviously, but his intentions in taking care of and looking out for this young black boy were positive. And it's like in the best way that he could show it. Right. Not in a like perfect kumbaya, everything's good. And, you know, make sure you never do wrong and cross the street, you know, and look both ways. Not in that like leave it to Beaver sort of way, but like, let me tell you what the streets are. Like, let me protect you from the shit that I can protect you from and tell you the things that I can tell you from personal experience, right? Because that's what that's what taking care of people is meeting them where you can, right? Like the cop meets him where the cop can meet him, which is like stay on the straight and narrow, like, you know, get this 9-to-5 job. That'll be the way that you make it. And Blax is like, look, just stay out of the drug shit. Like, I'm not saying you gotta not ride dirt bikes, which are totally illegal, or be a perfect kid, but he meets him where Blax meets Mouse where he is capable of meeting Mouse. And both of those perspectives are valid, right? Neither one of them are actually incorrect.
It's like your dad and your uncle. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. Like, that's exactly right.
And it's it really, yeah, man. Yeah. Like Into the Spider-Verse is another one where literally his dad is a cop trying to keep his son on the straight and narrow, and they have a strained relationship. And his uncle, who is a fucking criminal, still, you know, when he finds out who he is, he wants to, you know, he's like, nah, yo, like, this is my boy. I gotta keep him on the straight and narrow. Like, I'm gonna be real with him, but at the same time, like, I want to protect him because I know what I'm doing is wrong, and I can't let him go down that road.
Right.
Like, God damn, man.
Yeah, like, this movie is quite good. It's quite good. And again, it's impressive in a lot of ways that, it's impressive in a lot of ways I didn't think it would be, right? I thought it would be like, oh, okay, pretty like standard, but it hits on some points, and maybe we're adding those from our personal experience, which is which is altogether possible. But if the movie invokes that says a lot about the movie as well.
Yeah, that's what movie reviewers do, folks. Like, you know, much like everyone, we all have different life experiences, and when we see things, like you said, those are the feelings that we got from it, and that's what reviewing a movie is not a book report. You know what I mean?
It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be. No, you're reviewing art, right? Like,
yeah.
But I don't know. It just. Yeah, this movie is. I had a feeling this would happen. Like, the more I'm talking about it, like, you know how sometimes we talk about these movies, and the more you talk about it, you're like, wow, this movie really stinks, or wow, wow, this movie is way better than I thought it would be. Right.
Yeah. It all depends on when you start to dig into the weeds of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm mad that this is probably not easy to find, but I'm gonna find it. Or I'm gonna make it. At one point, and I already know. I'm sure you would agree. At one point, Mouse is walking around with a shirt that says Avon, Stringer, Weebay, and D'Angelo, which are characters from The Wire. Which I was like, yo, that is a fucking great shirt. I was like, I need that shirt. That's awesome. Yeah, he's sort of walking home when Detective Rivers pulls up to him, and this is a very emotional scene. This is where his accent drops a little bit, but this is where there's a couple moments where I'm like, he brought it back a little bit. Even just in the way that not even just in the way he says certain things, in like just certain phrases. And so Rivers is like, look, man, don't fuck around with these guys. Don't fuck around with the Midnight Clique. Like, these guys are fucking bad news. Because Rivers had gone to see Blax. And it's kind of that, they kind of have that come to Jesus moment where Blax literally is like, the best thing you could do for this kid is to beat the fuck out of his life forever. Which is and isn't true, but that kind of comes back full circle, which I think was well done in the end. So Rivers pulls up on Mouse and he's like, yo, what the fuck? I told you, like, stay away from these guys, get off these fucking bikes. And Mouse has this like really heartfelt like blow up on him. And he's like, look, I don't need you. I don't need anybody but myself. Right. And he goes, and he's like, yo, just stop talking to me. Leave me alone. Don't, get in my face asking me a bunch of questions. Like, who the fuck are you? He even does the thing that a lot of kids in Baltimore do, which is like, you gay, yo? Like, immediately, which is like, relax.
Everybody calm down.
Yeah, relax. Caring about someone isn't gay. But that's his street reflex, right? It's just to try to push that on him, to kind of push him away. Like, he doesn't actually hate Detective Rivers at all. But he doesn't know, he doesn't know how to deal with being cared about. Like, in the sort of open way that Rivers is to him.
Yeah, he says he's tired of adults trying to tell him what to do.
Right. I mean, he's also that's also a 14-year-old's response.
Exactly. You're 14, you're young, you think you know things, but you really don't. Like, right. I'm 40 and I don't know shit.
Right. It is what it is. You think you do. A couple things. But like, yeah, I mean, so at 14, you don't know nothing.
Yeah, you really don't know nothing.
No, you really don't. But he's just trying to process his emotion. And look, I mean, part of that comes, I'm sure, directly from the fact that his father isn't there, right? Which they don't deal with directly, but they deal with it through Rivers and Blax.
Right.
So his father isn't there. You've got these two outside men who are sort of trying to piece together being two parts of a missing puzzle piece, right? And like the amount of broken families in Baltimore City, especially in like these areas, are fucking nuts, right? Like, they just are,
right?
Because of a thousand reasons. But Mouse is like, look, I'm not your fucking project. Like, I promise you that. Like, I'm not going to be a thing that helps you. Like, fuck off. Which, I mean, like, it's a little crazy, but yeah, like he's just an emotional mess at that point. I feel like the movie gives away the ghost on some Baltimore criminality that I was not aware of. Apparently, drug dealers use dating apps to talk to each other, which is genius.
Yo, drug dealers are so smart.
Like, just use your powers for good.
Right, yo. But using your powers for not good is so much easier and more profitable in the immediate.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's why they use criminals to try and hunt criminals, because they, when you're a cop, like they want you to be such a hive-minded drone that you don't know how to think outside the box. Right. And that's why they get criminals who come in to try and help the police, because they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah. These niggas are using like a hookup app to talk to each other. Like, swipe right, nigga. To like send each other deals, to pick up drugs. So Lamont, swear to God, and Mouse join the drug portion, the drug arm of the Midnight Cliques, and they're given bikes, dirt bikes, to go deliver and pick up drugs and money for the crew, and they do that to quite the profit. So like, yeah, they're doing like pretty goddamn well for themselves. Then Mouse's mom finds all of this money that he has, and she gets fucking pissed at him, and she's like, you know, I lost your brother to these streets. I'm not going to lose you, Myron. And so like, you a grown ass man now, like you getting money, cool. Then get the fuck out of my house.
Tiana Paris is a great actress.
I think she is. I think she's actually, not in enough stuff.
Right. I'm actually a really big fan of hers. Like, I'm not trying to be sleazy. Like, I actually think she's a very good actress.
Yeah. I mean, she's also super fun. But yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nigga, our eyes work.
No, she's super fine. But she, you know, she kind of lost that accent a little bit in this.
Yeah, she did. Yes. But, she's from Baltimore by way of Columbia. Okay.
But no, this is a really good scene. And
yeah, she puts in work.
Yeah, she does. And you're right. I don't think she's in enough stuff. We need to see more women especially women that look like her, in more roles.
Yeah. Yeah, I like, to me, she should be a fucking superstar. Like, there are definitely women in Hollywood who I think are not nearly as dynamic as she is. Yeah, I think she got her big break in that not so great Spike Lee movie, but like, I feel like maybe this movie, which is getting a lot of critical acclaim, may help her kind of come up, because I really think she's quite good. I really do. Yeah, I'm just generally pretty impressed by all the performances in this. Oh, I'm sorry, I did skip ahead. This is the scene where Rivers goes and meets Blax. It wasn't before. I apologize. And so they have a kind of a face-to-face, and it's like they're basically telegraphing like what we were talking about, which is they both care about Mouse, but they're just coming from two wildly different perspectives. And like they have their like kind of come to Jesus moment where like Blax is like, nigga, you do not know me. Fuck off. And Rivers is like, no, but I do. And
no, he straight up was just like, nah, yo, you ain't black, you blue, nigga.
Yeah.
Like there's a difference. Like, and like you said before, like Mouse knows that I care about him. You just getting paid to care about him.
Right.
And that's some hard shit to hear when you generally care for somebody, yo. Like,
yeah, because you can't, like, because you can't prove otherwise. You can't prove otherwise.
Right. Like, you can't,
whether it's true or not.
Yeah. It's,
yeah. I mean, like, it's, and that's what pisses Rivers off is like, look, Blacks don't have nothing, right? He's just working. He's just a mechanic in a shitty garage. Like, that's it. But his love for that kid is real, and it's obvious. Rivers is a guy who is hired to make sure, be a mentor to one of these kids in the ghetto. And even if he does care about him, how do you prove that? Like, how do you prove that it's not a mandated thing that you care? Right? I don't know. Right. And but in the sort of quiet moments of the movie, it is obvious that Rivers does actually care about him. But yeah, that would be like highly infuriating to hear someone say to you, like, no, for real, I do fucking care about this kid. And like, you aren't the only person. And it is not until the end of the movie that the two of them, in the weird circumstance that they come to in the end, they actually both get each other. Which is again, very well done. So at this point, the kids are making plenty of money, like they're feeling good, but they're like, look, Mouse is like, look, we need to own our own bikes, like, because at any point these guys could just take these bikes and then like we don't have nothing. So like we need to be able to own our own bikes. So why don't we get some money and then just like buy the bikes off of them? And so swear to God,
I think it was
buy their own.
I think it was more of let's show them that we can do more besides run these drugs.
Right, but they did want to they did want to have the bikes because they didn't want to have to owe them.
Exactly. And I think,
it's probably
robbing
both.
a convenience store ain't going to be enough to buy the bikes off of them, right? Like, and they're not going to sell them those bikes, right? Like they decide to do what they do because they want to prove to them that they can do more than just run drugs. You're 100% right. They want to be given those bikes.
Yeah.
But that's just minutia.
Yeah. Of course. So they go to Snoop, we'll call her. I forget her real name. It's like Queen Wheelie or some shit like that. Some crazy.
Yeah, it is actually.
Yeah, some shit like that in real life. And I guarantee she's from Cherry Hill. I guarantee fucking to you she's from Cherry Hill. And so they go to her and they're like, "Yo, we're trying to we need to strap." And the one dude's like, "All right, yeah, give him one for all three of them." they only get one between the three of them. And so Queen is like, "All right, cool. I'm gonna give you a gun." And so Jamal's like, "Yeah, just give it to Mouse. Like, don't give it to the other two. Give it to Mouse." So Blax oversees this and then, or overhears this. And so he goes over to Jamal and he's like, "Yo, take it easy on Mouse, right? Like, back off of him." And he's like, "Nah, yo, you want to strap, you want to tool up or whatever." And he's like, "Yeah, no, I hear you. Like, I hear what you're saying, but like, just, fucking leave the kid alone, right?"
Yeah, he's a kid, man.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, I think I was about his age when you gave me my first strap, nigga."
He was like, I might have fucked that up. My bad. Let me shut up then. God damn. Like, why are you bringing up old shit? And so the plan is for the kids to actually, they're gonna rob that convenience store for money. And
the
so
convenience store that they always go to, by the way. This is not a very smart.
Nah, you kind of want to go to a different place. God damn it.
But you know what? This is why there's crime localized in, certain communities, right? When people go commit crimes, they commit crimes where they live, right? Ain't nobody going to Roland Park to, rob whatever convenience stores they have up there. No,
there ain't no convenience stores up here.
Exactly. Like,
you're gonna rob a Fresh Market or a Whole Foods?
Right.
Go ahead.
You're gonna rob a supermarket? You're gonna rob Giant?
Right. You get shot.
It's too big, yo.
It's too much space. So at one point, Mouse goes back to the garage. He's talking to Blax, and then he sees Blax's dog isn't doing well, and so he's like, "Yo, there's something wrong with this dog. Like, you got to take this dog to the vet." And they go to a vet, the vet that Mouse works at, and he finds out the dog has what's called bloat. Right. A lot of times that happens when dogs eat something out of the garbage that didn't agree with them. It's not, I wouldn't say super common, but it's not super rare either. Right. It can happen to certain dogs, more often than others. And basically the dog is going to die. Right. That's what happened to a good friend of mine's dog, actually, which is kind of sad. But Blax is like, all right, like he's kind of emotional about it, but like he's a real man, so I ain't gonna cry about it. And shit.
Yeah, I ain't gonna cry in front of his kid.
No, I'm just going. I'm gonna scream into my pillow tonight, alone, like a man, because I don't have any emotional depth. And so he's like, okay, well, I'm just gonna let Mouse do it. Inject the dog with basically to put him down, right? And so Mouse actually has to do it while Blax holds the dog. Yeah, I mean, look, this is a sad scene. I've had to hold my dog as my dog was being put down. It's awful. It's just awful. Period.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
It's awful.
All joking aside, everybody knows how I feel about dogs, but I'm not gonna sit there and watch one die. Like,
No. I mean, it's not like they're convulsing or anything. They just go to sleep, but it's just sad.
Like,
it's just fucking sad.
Yeah.
Unless it's the dog up the street that just keeps howling, then I would do it myself for free. Shut up. Jesus Christ, put that dog in the house. Yeah, one of my not a close neighbor, but like up the block, they have a hound that they leave outside all the time.
A hound?
Yo, I'm like, I want to strangle everyone in that house with piano wire.
We used to live in a condominium complex, and somebody had a hound.
No.
And the goddamn thing would just oh, I'm like, yo, you got to stop that shit.
Yo, all day and all night. I seriously, I don't understand how people who live, I would like next door to them, I'd be like, yo, put that dog in the house. I'm going to kill you. I'm not going to kill it. I respect it as an animal. I'm going to kill you. You, the person.
Because I don't respect you as a person.
No, exactly. I don't. You fucking asshole. My dog is 2 blocks away and's like, yo, there's a dog outside. And he's like freaking out. I'm like, all right. God damn. So there's another night at the ride. This is the night they're gonna rob the convenience store that they hang out at all the time. And so they try. When
before that, right after the dog is put down, Blax explains that he knew Stro, and he explains how he knew Stro, and he says that Stro offered him a job running drugs, and that Stro died during one of those jobs.
All right.
Because we knew that Stro and Blax knew each other, but I don't know if Mouse knew that they knew each other.
No, he did because he was in like the video. Like he was like Stro was a part of
that's right.
The Midnight Clique, but he didn't realize he was like doing the drugs and shit.
Yeah, he didn't realize that he was partially responsible for his brother's death.
Right.
And Mouse is just like, didn't really need to hear that right now.
Yeah.
After we just put a dog down.
Right.
So now it's the ride, and they're like, hey, let's do this convenience store robbery, and don't worry about guns. We just don't shoot the guns.
Yeah, no shooting.
Right. One of them was like, but they ain't gonna hear it anyway because of all the engine noise. And I was just like, yo, come on, yo. Like we know, like it's Mr. and Mrs. Kim, yo. like let's not kill Mr. and Mrs. Kim. Let's not shoot the guns, yo.
Yeah. And the shit goes left, and swear to God gets killed during the
man. They go in, masks up, and they try to rob Mr. Kim. Mr. Kim is like, fuck that, I'm getting behind this bulletproof glass and I'm calling the cops. And there's a lot of screaming. One of the boys' guns goes off in the air. Mrs. Kim comes out, and she's just like,
hurry up and buy, nigga. Bow.
Right. This is my place, yo. Like, I gotta defend myself. And she busts off, I think, all 6 of her shots.
Yeah.
And Fat Boy was his name. Swear to God, gets killed.
Yeah.
And man, his purpose is fulfilled. His purpose in this movie is fulfilled.
Yeah, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I thought it was sad that the kid died. Immediately, Lamont and Mouse leave on their bikes, and Lamont goes to find Daryl, and Mouse goes looking for help from Blax. Blax is like, look, you know what it means to get a second chance from us. Like, people who look like us don't get second chances. And he's not wrong. Obviously, Mouse tells him what happened, tells him to swear to God got killed because of the robbery and all this other shit. Look, the second chance shit is true. It's a big power that white supremacy has. And I've talked about this before, is white people are allowed to fail and come back. Black people are not. We never are. It's a rarity when it happens. So if you're like, well, what about Mike Tyson? Yeah. Mike Tyson is a 1 in a million Negro. Okay. Like, it is not common.
Who was loved by white people, by the way.
Yeah.
Like,
and white people don't really fuck with Mike Tyson like that anymore. Like,
right.
No.
It's very, like, Michael Vick kind of came back, but not really, because people still like get on him about that dog shit. And look, the dog shit is not cool at all.
It's despicable.
But he should be allowed to come back. And he did to a point, but people are quick to remind him of it.
Oh, they're not gonna let that nigga forget that.
No, they're not gonna.
No.
But people like Mel Gibson can do and say literally anything, even against other white people. Like, Jewish people are predominantly white.
Yeah.
But he can come back,
I mean, he ain't really come back. Like, he's one of the rare white people. They're just kind of like, they've been trying, They keep trying to ease Mel Gibson. They keep trying to. He ain't back. Like, he ain't in no big Hollywood movies. He's always on the. He's always on some cuspy. Hey, I'm in Fat Man coming up, like, cuspy shit.
I'm grizzled Santa Claus.
Right. I mean, I kind of want to see that movie. I'm not gonna lie, but like, he might be one of the rare exceptions to, like, white people being able to come back. But second chances, I mean, they're talking about, like, in
for
jail
like
and stuff like that.
For, like, regular people.
Right. But it
can't really use celebrities, but regular people, like white men especially, can come back.
White men can fail up.
Yeah.
Nigga, who do you think the fucking president currently is?
I used to work for Baltimore City. I'm very aware of how white men can fail up. The motherfucker electrocuted himself, and they promoted him to keep him away from all the high voltage. Get the fuck out of here, yo.
I mean, that's a good trick, but that shit ain't gonna work for you.
Nope.
Nigga, you end up dead. So, like, don't do that. That's stupid. God damn. But it's one of those things where, like, second chances, again, they are speaking very directly to young black men getting put in jail. And, like, if Mouse had gone to jail in this moment, his life would be over, period. Right? He would be, when he got out, doesn't matter if he got out in 20 years or 5 years, he would be considered an ex-con. He would have to deal with, issues of, like, filling out the box. Have you been convicted of a felony? Which means you're not going to get hired anywhere. You're going to have all of these issues. Like, no, it's not going to work out.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine your life being over at 35?
Right. Nigga, I'm 40 now. Like, that's insane. That's insane. That's insane. For something you did when you were 14. That you can never come back from.
Right.
So
never mind and you got to live with the guilt of your, people don't talk about that, but, like, people, most people aren't psychos, right? Like, they do things and shit happens, but, like, people have to live with the murders that they do. And there are a few people who actually do feel guilty about that shit.
Right.
Which is why you see a lot of them turn to religion, because they don't have nowhere else to go.
Right.
But, like, you got to live with that shit, man. And I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I think your point is sound. Like, it's, I don't know what I would do if I had to, like, if this was the, like, boom, this is it. And not only can you not make any progress, but now we're going to regress you to a point where like, and this is not an offense to anybody with this job, but your only option ever is like you have to work menial positions. Like you can never progress. You can never do anything. No matter how hard you work, you will always just be stuck in a place of like working at a job a 16-year-old would have. And you can never like truly provide for your family in that way. And like, you know, there's dignity of work. And I don't imagine somebody who is like a 40 or 50-year-old dude wants to have to do that job. Like, you know, and again, I'm not trying to denigrate anybody who does. I'm just saying, I'm sure people would rather have a higher position, more money and things like that.
Or at least the option to.
Or the option, right. Like, look, some people will be like, look, this is fine. Like, I don't give a fuck. But right. I'm just saying, like, to have that option taken away from you because of a choice you made at 14 is crazy.
Yeah.
Right? And not that murder is a little thing. I'm just saying, like, in this case, he didn't kill his friend, but, you know, his decisions got his friend killed.
Yeah.
So right before the, you know, Blax hears the police coming because they tracked the bike to, I mean, Rivers is leading the team. So, you know, it wasn't hard for him to figure this out. Right. And he knows Mouse is the one who's guilty. He absolutely knows. Yeah. When they open the garage, Blax takes credit for the robbery. And says that he did it and that Mouse had been working in his garage the whole time. And Rivers and Blax have sort of their moment where it's like, okay, I know what you're doing. Like I get it, and I'm gonna let you do that to save this kid. And that's what I'm saying. Like this is the moment where they have it's a level of mutual respect for each other.
Yeah, this is the moment when push finally came to shove, and we see that these two men, they both understand that they care for this kid, and they it's an unspoken thing, but they go along with it, and
right,
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not even going to say, like, would I or wouldn't I not do that? Like, it's just a situation I hope I never find myself in.
Yep. That's it. Yeah. That's it, man.
Right. And so Rivers arrests Blax for robbing this convenience store and getting this kid killed. And that's where that their situation kind of bumps heads, and then they're like, got it. Turns out Blax is a good dude. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
and that's the thing, you know, like he always was a good dude in this. In every scene that we saw him in this movie, he was always a good dude.
Yep, he was.
No matter what, and that's, you know, that's something that people need to understand, especially people in authority, man. Like, sometimes people do dumb things, but I truly believe that deep down people are inherently good. They're also very like they're not actively evil.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I agree with I agree with half of that. Yeah.
Yeah, people aren't actively evil. I think people are good, but I know that most people aren't actively evil. Right. But that's what people don't understand, right? Like that's why like whenever I see another fucking cop kill one of us, man, like I understand you're in the moment, but like, yo, it's so fucking frustrating, yo. And I just don't want. I fear for my son, man. We can't do another movie like this, Jay. God damn it.
I need a break.
Yeah, man. I want so much with him, and I don't want him to. I don't want him to be stereotyped. I don't want him to be put in situations where he has to Like, I understand where Terrence comes from, where he's like, fuck cops and fuck white people, but I don't want to raise him that way. At the same time, it gets harder and harder every day to not
do that. Right.
Think that way. So,
well, yeah, I agree with you, and it's, it does, like, there are moments where, like, I just, I read stuff and I see things and I'm just like, what do I tell her? Right? Like, do I pretend that the world is fine and everything will work out and everything will be fair? Well, that's not true. Like,
right.
That's not true.
You're setting them up for you're setting them up for bitterness, man.
Right. Like, what the fuck? You lied to me. Like, you asshole. But at the same time, like, I think it's important to tell your kids that they can overcome things, and that, yes, the world is unfair. You are a little black girl, or you're a little black boy in this country, and you will be seen as different. And you will be seen as less than by people, just from the sheer fact that you exist. Like, that's it. As fucked up as that is, just from the sheer fact that you exist. But you are, like, you have to persevere. Like, that is a part of our story. It's a part of, like, not just your parents' story. Like, fuck us. Like, who cares? Like, we're privileged by historical accounts, right? Like, we just are. But by your grandparents, by your great grandparents, by your great great grandparents, like, you come from people who have fought harder than damn near any people in history, and it is your job to keep fighting. Like, that is your job. Is it fair? It's not fair. You shouldn't have to fight. You should be able to just live your life and do well in school and get a good job and have a good career and make your mark on the world.
Yeah.
You get to do all of those things, but you also have to fight every step of the way. And in a way, it makes, I think, like, this is going to sound weird, and I wish it were not true, as much as what I'm going to say sounds contradictory to that. I think it makes for better people. I do. I wish we didn't have to do that, but I think people who have to fight for, like, that success, it can tear us down, and it tears a lot of people down, and it makes a lot of black people specifically very fatalist, right? Like, nothing ever going to change or stuff like that. But when you have black people who don't fall into that, and that's not like they're better or worse than other black people who do. That's not my point. But when black people are able to overcome those things, I think they excel in a way that others, like other like white people, simply cannot. Right? Like, if you look at people like a Beyonce or a Jay-Z, they are not just examples of successful black people or successful musicians. They are on a different level because they've had to fight and persevere in a way that other, like, white artists don't have to. Like,
right.
So there is a level of struggle and perseverance, and resilience, which is a word we use with our daughter a lot, especially for what she went through as a young child. That I think gives us a hardened shell. And if we are able to use that as a way to move forward and not just as a way to shut down, I think it, as shitty as the circumstances are, I think it can make us into powerful people. And I think you see it in a lot of ways where people go, oh, wow, these black people are accomplishing great things, because they have to. They have to. Like, if they're going to make it, they can't just barely make it. They got to fully make it. And they got to do, as you and I have definitely been taught our entire lives, we have to work twice as hard to get half as much. So when you see the people getting twice as much as white people, they have busted their ass to get there. They didn't get there on happenstance. They worked their ass off. So as much as I wish it weren't a thing that black kids weren't saddled with, they are. And until we can fix that system, and it's going to be a long time, it makes for a different type of people. And I think in some ways it makes for better people. I just do.
It makes for tougher people.
Sure. You can use that word too. Yeah, I don't mean better than other people. I mean, it makes them better than they would be able to be if they didn't have, like, if they lived totally soft lives, right? Like, white people who live totally soft lives are just like, oh yeah, then I grew up, went to college, and then everything was fine, right? Versus then I went to Harvard and I was fine. Versus the black kid who made it through all the bullshit and then also made it to Harvard. Those two people are wildly different people. They are.
Yeah, like, look at Trump, right? Like he can't reconcile with the fact that he lost, and he's like, it's eating away at his brain, right? Like,
it's not a big meal, but go ahead.
Because he's never had to fight for things,
right?
So everything just came to him. And I'm not saying, you're right. It makes for tougher people, man.
It just does.
It makes for people who are built different. Everyone lauds and applauds black women.
There's a reason they're so fucking tough. There's a reason.
Right.
Nobody applauds, oh, this white guy's really tough and really resilient. For what? For what? For what? Well, my family wasn't rich growing up. Okay, so like almost every other family in America, like, what the fuck argument is that, right? That's the worst it generally is for white men, right? Like, I'm not saying you don't have like your personal stories and shit, but I'm saying, like, as a generality, we just didn't grow up rich. Like, that's it.
Right.
That's it. Black people are like, yeah, we didn't grow up rich and the KKK burned down my house. Like, nigga, goddamn, like we got ran out of town because we're black, or the school system that we grew up around were completely defunded and garbage, or the levees broke in our neighborhoods and flooded and destroyed our entire communities, or black women, we're grossly ignored, and we deal with the patriarchy from white men, and shittiness and fake feminism from white women, and shittiness from black men. Like, it's not the same. It's just not the same. So, like, yeah, those people go through shit that just makes them just different fucking human beings. Maybe I shouldn't say it better, but different human beings in a way that other people just maybe cannot appreciate. And so I just think that, like, as people joke and go, well, if you could choose your race, then, I'd re-up on white every year because it's so easy. That's a funny joke, but guess what? I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Even knowing all the shit that black people deal with, it makes me who I am. It makes me who I am. So, like, I wouldn't move away from that if I could. I just wouldn't. Vibes Cartel and Sammy Sosa. I just wouldn't. You look insane. So it's just like, I appreciate the fact that struggle and the shit that my people have been through, and myself directly have been through because of my blackness, that makes me who I am. And, like, that's what I love about this movie, actually. It's a black story and it doesn't shy away from that. Like to quote Carlton from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, black is what I am. It's not what I'm trying to be, right? Like, that's just fundamentally who you are. Like, there's no running away from this shit. And so you deal with the world that you deal with. And these dudes are in East Baltimore and they deal with the world that they deal with.
Right.
But yeah, look, trust me, as two black fathers on here, we definitely wish our kids didn't have to grow up in a world that had to deal with this shit. So maybe Montreal is the place to move. I don't know.
It's really nice there.
I don't want to live underground.
You only got to live underground like 7 months out of the year. It was actually very hot when we went in July. And then, it's probably very cold right now.
Let me check what's the weather in Montreal right now?
Right. What the fuck is the weather in Montreal right now?
Yo, it's gonna be mad cold.
It's probably like 12 degrees Celsius up there.
I don't even know what that means. I don't.
It's close to absolute zero.
No, it's 56. Yeah, it's actually kind of like what it is here. See,
it's not bad, yo. It's right across the way from New York, yo. It's not.
I'm moving to Montreal, yo.
Montreal is a wonderful place.
Nah, I'm going.
It's kind of uppity, right? It's kind of uppity, but I kind of like it. I mean, I'm kind of uppity.
Yeah, I mean, that feels like something I can get used to.
I feel a kinship with those fake French people.
Those fake French, yeah, you're kind of fake French.
I'm very fake French.
Yo, it's like 44 degrees up there on Saturday. That's not good. I don't appreciate that.
That's not good at all.
Damn, it's 72 tomorrow and then like 44 by Saturday. Yo, what kind of fucking bullshit is this, Quebec? Get out of here. So yeah, it's I don't know, man. I don't know. But I think this movie hits us in a different way. And I know it hits you in a certain way. For obvious reasons.
I'm fighting back, trying not to cry on this thing, especially because we're on YouTube. So
you're getting soft in your old age, man.
Look, it's having that baby, man, having that kid.
It does.
It just changes you, man. Like I don't see the world as I think I see the world for what it is, but I also hope that it can be better. Whereas before I didn't give a fuck, but now I have a reason to.
Yeah. Well, I always feel like as a parent, you have to like, your job is to work to clear a path for them.
Right.
Right. Like it's like shoveling snow. Like, look, my back hurts. I fucking hate it. It's 44 degrees in Montreal. Shit sucks. but you got to get out there and you got to shovel that driveway because you got to clear a path for them.
Right.
Right. And no matter how much that hurts and it's exhausting. Yeah.
That's all I want.
Yep.
That's all I want is, I want to clear a path and I want the fucking world to just kind of let me do it. That's it.
That's just it.
Let me clear a path, yo. Just leave me alone.
Look. We have brought racism down to a very clear and understandable analogy. Just let us shovel snow out of our driveway so our kids can get in their car and go about their day. That's it.
Let me shovel all this whiteness
out of the way with my black shovel. Get out of the way. I'm going to buy a black shovel solely for this winter. Solely for that visual. Look at me just tossing this shit out of the way. But yeah, no, but that's what it is, right? You are trying to just clear a path for them. That's it. That's all it is. Like there's parenthood. Like you could use that for parenthood, or you could use it for parenthood as a black person, or person of color. Like that's what it is. You're just trying to clear a path for your kid or kids. If you're an insane person, more than one, what's wrong with you?
Well, we about to be insane. If my wife has anything to say about it.
Yeah, y'all niggas are wild. Anthony got 2 crazy. And Hank and Hope over there with fucking Andy. No, you guys are fucking nuts. Get out of here. More than one kid. I have a dog and a kid. That's enough. So sort of the last scene, we see Mouse headed home. It's 1 year later after the death of Swear to God, and Mouse's hair is out now, and he's working at the veterinarian's office, and he's heading home, and just as he gets home, Lamont stops by, and he's like, "Hey man, I haven't seen you in a while," and Lamont is like all decked out in like designer clothes, whatever it is you young niggas wear, all his patchwork used jeans and nonsense, major damage, I guess. And he's got like chains and shit. So he's on a dirt bike. So he clearly still has, he's still doing the same stuff that he was doing, a year ago. Those Nikes are dope though. I'll give him that. But he misses his friend, right? But they're clearly on 2 very divergent paths.
Yeah,
And
they have grown apart. Like it's an awkward conversation, or as I like to say, a conversation with Micah. It's just very like 1 and 2 word answers and grunts and
grunts.
head nods and all right and yeah,
You got it.
Yep.
And the final scene is Mouse walking to his house. He's kind of walking back home, and his mom is there on the porch, and they're like, "Hey, baby, yeah, how you doing?" And life is good, right? Like he's doing his thing. And I know if you were unaware that this movie took place in Baltimore, there's one last thing to tell you that it does take place in Baltimore, which is that Mouse is wearing a bag from Downtown Locker Room, which I burst out laughing when I saw. I was like, God damn it. I mean, I guess Shoe City would have been the only other
Shoe City. My city, your city,
Shoe City. Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't buy a car from Eastern Motors. But
he doesn't have a real job, because you see, when at Eastern Motors, your job is your credit.
Very good. God damn it. And then the movie ends. And of course they play the Rough Riders anthem with just a bunch of people from Baltimore riding dirt bikes and shit. Some of them kind of like blooper tapes or whatever. Look, I know where like 80% of these places are, like just off the top of my head. One of these places is right near my house, my old house, which is fucking wild. Yeah, these dudes are like doing some wild shit on quads and riding dirt bikes on sidewalks. That's right near my job, which is crazy. One dude fell, which was fucking hilarious. Yeah, like these guys are crazy good, man. They're crazy good, and it's kind of cool to see them do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was great.
Oh, like that's Guilford Avenue, yo.
Yeah, like, like I know where that is. Yeah, these dudes are fucking wild. Yeah, and that chick fell off their bike. Ha ha. So yeah, look, it's a good movie. It's a good coming of age story. It's pretty fun in some way. Like in some ways, it's very serious in other ways. There's Downtown. But yeah, it's I enjoyed it. But look, I mean, I don't think I can say it enough. Like, take care of the black kids in your life, man. Like, seriously. Like it's important. Like it's super important. Be role models to them. And role models in a way that is beneficial to prepare them for the armor they have to wear. We wish they didn't have to, but they do. They do.
Yep.
Less and less every day, but they still got to have it on.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Any final words before we get out of here?
Yeah, I really like this movie, man. I like it way more than, like I said, going through it is, it made me appreciate it more. So I very much recommend this movie. Show us some love.
All right, there you go. All right, guys, we will see you next time for the preview episode for episode 187.
See you.
Bye. You're watching the Black on Black Cinema YouTube channel. Make sure you check out our full reviews of black movies, past and present. And every other week, we do a preview episode where we talk about a random topic that affects the black community.